Hey guys, Rob Reviews here, bringing you another awesome review for another pretty cool episode of The Walking Dead Season 1. This is Season 1, Episode 4, Vatos. So, this episode originally aired in November the 1st, 2010. And this one was directed by Johan Renck. Okay, moving on. So we'll go through the kind of quick plot of this. I'm not going to go through it in massive detail, but I'll just kind of skimp over the important things, or at least the things I think are pretty important for this episode. So, anyway. So it starts off with Andre and Amy sitting in the quarry, obviously fishing. We have a cool little conversation with them. It gets a little bit boring, but whatever. That's the opening scene. And then nearby we actually have Dale keeping watch, and he sees Jim just furiously digging. And then we have the opening scene. In Atlanta, we have Daryl kind of pointing his crossbow at T-Dog, getting really angry, and then sort of eventually he calms down, and they end up following the kind of trail of Merle's blood. Back at the thing, we have Jim, obviously, and the whole thing with Jim. We have them talking to Jim, saying that they're actually going to, they're upsetting the children, and eventually they overpower Jim and they tie him up. Daryl shoots another walker in the head, and then they follow the trail. Eventually they get to the broken window, and of course, and the iron and stuff. So they know that Merle's at least attempted to seal his bleeding out hand. Eventually they decide to plan to retrieve Rick's bag of guns, because they can't really find Merle at this time. Daryl says he's going to watch from the alley while T-Dog and Rick will cover the second alley, which is 2 blocks away. Glenn says that Glenn and Daryl have a conversation about what they used to do before. Well, at least Glenn says. Glenn goes for the guns, but then a group of men come. Miguel comes screaming, asking for help. And then 2 other men come, George and Philippe. They actually take the bag, and then Daryl shoots one of them I think it's George in the ass with a crossbow bolt. He screams, drops the bag, but they take Glenn as they go off. They leave Miguel behind, and then obviously T-Dog and Rick come along, and they have Miguel, and they talk to Miguel, and Miguel eventually tells them where the thing is, after Daryl sort of uses his brother's hand as a scare tactic, which is pretty funny. So they decide to basically go in full guns blazing. T-Dog aims in with a sniper from afar on the rooftop. They go in, they demand, Guillermo, who is the leader, demands the bag of guns, threatens to kill Glenn on the roof. And then eventually Rick says they'll do a trade. They go in, and then when they're having a heated conversation, Abullah, who was Philippe's grandmother, comes in, asking for help. Mr. Gilbert, who is an elder resident there, Rick comes, and he basically finds out that all these Latino gangsters, are actually just innocent guys helping an old folks home. And Rick obviously points to Guillermo, saying that he's the dumbest son of a bitch he's ever met, because he came in, he was ready to kill people. So we actually see a bit with the old folks and stuff, and then eventually we see them giving back guns to the give some guns to the elderly, and eventually they find the truck is gone, and they think it's probably Merle, so they have to actually go back on foot out back to the camp. And while we look at the camp, we see the camp and stuff. We have people talking about, Amy's birthday, for example. And Andrea's looking for wrapping paper to wrap the necklace that she took in Guts, which I forgot to mention. And then while they're sitting at the campfire, we have Ed hearing some scuffling at the tent. He says, "Get the hell away." He opens the tent, and there's a zombie. Ed kind of shits himself. The zombie goes down, bites his neck, and while Amy leaves the RV, she gets one in the arm, and then one in the shoulder, and then an absolute massive herd of zombies just comes into the camp. Everyone comes, Shane's shooting them, Morales is hitting them with the bat, Jim's hitting them with the bat, Amy goes down, Andre is crying at Amy. Wonderful acting. I think that was so brilliant, the stuff with Amy and Andre. I'll talk about that more in a second. Yeah, it looks like the camp's maybe going to get overrun, and then Rick, Glenn, T-Dog, and Daryl come out of nowhere, all guns blazing, shooting the zombies, and then right at the end, we see all the zombies dead, loads of random Atlanta camp people gone, Amy and Ed gone, and sort of Jim says he realised why he was digging those holes, and he realised what his dream was about now. And yeah, brilliant episode. So this was a great episode. It was a proper, kind of moment where it kind of hit like an absolute high. It was looking like a kind of reasonable episode. I really liked the stuff with the Vatos. It was really interesting to see that community and how they sort of tricked us, because it would appear that these guys are a bunch of, thugs, and they're not really people to be reasoned with, when they're actually very reasonable people, because of course they're helping the elderly. And of course the attack, the last kind of 10-15 minutes of the episode was absolutely brilliant. It was so cool to see the attack, and obviously we have some brilliant acting with Andrea, the actress Lauren Cohen, I think that's the actress name. Though she is just in this scene, this is probably her best acting scene ever from Walking Dead. It was just so brilliant. It resembled what someone would probably be like when their sister has been eaten, or part of has been eaten and she's dying. Such a lovely episode, such a violent and gruesome episode, but really well good, and I loved it. Really good. So I'm going to give this episode, it's not quite a 10, just because I feel like some of the Vatos stuff was a bit slow. It's actually going to be a 9.5. A 9.5. It's close 10. I really do love this episode. I think it is the best episode in Season 1. So I do think it definitely deserves a 9.5. It is some really classic television, some really high quality television, and it's just all round so good. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick review of the Vatos episode. Hopefully I can get Season 1 done soon. But anyway, I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.